All right, guys, welcome to episode 106. We're joined with a friend of the podcast, Jackson Simmons. He's been tearing it up this year, so I figured we'd have him on.
You know, we had a chance to talk to you last year, Jackson, and during the height of the Great Plains Gravel Cup, and you know, it's fun to watch the season unfold and watch how you performed throughout the year last year. But I think what was more interesting was watching your Strava in the off season of this, leading into this year.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I noticed, and I would love to, I don't want to jump right into topics here, but one of the things I would love to know is, like, how did you stay motivated to put that many miles on a trainer or just in the off season? Because when everybody else was enjoying their Christmas and New Year's, you were out putting the work in, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a lot of miles put down before most people even got outside. So maybe at some point, I definitely want to talk about that with you, because it was so impressive. And we knew you were going to set up for a good year this year.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun to watch the year unfold for you. So it's great to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back on.
All right, so let's do the Great Plains Gravel Cup stuff. Yeah. Last season you finished 5th overall, which was a pretty strong. I felt like last year you might have been working for the team a little bit more, and then this year you might have gotten the okay to pursue your own goals. Was the feeling kind of that, or were you just coming in this year just stronger than last year? Did you notice?
I think I was more on the level of some of the other teammates, so we were working for each other this year rather than trying to work for some, like Michael, who's significantly stronger, and Sam, who's unreal. And I was able to take a little bit of leadership, especially in Flint Hills, where I did the best in the team. I was sprinting for second, ended up 4th on that day, and that gave a lot of prowess in the team and respect from those guys, which is huge. They're amazing racers and have tons of talent. So I think that was a big help, but also I just came into this year pretty hot with a big off season and an early off season, as you guys mentioned earlier. So that gave me a lot of respect. And then we did a team camp in January, and that was where we all kind of saw like fitness levels of each other, and we were able to, do a measuring contest. And
as you do at a team camp.
Yeah,
that's right.
We got to see everybody's level, and that really helped with the gravel side, and like putting together a pecking order that's not one person, but we can all fight together and try to start dominating together, which hasn't worked out this year as well as last year it did.
Yeah. So when you guys established kind of the team order and stuff, was there a change to the tactics that you guys were running this year? I noticed, like, on some of the races, it seemed like the front wasn't, like, you guys weren't so hot. Like I could actually see you for longer, and I know my fitness was not nearly what your guys's were. So I was just wondering if, like, you guys just had a little bit different tact going into it.
Yeah,
and you don't have to spill the beans on the whole team tactics stuff. I just was just something I noticed.
Yeah, we tried to make stuff like that work at open range and some of these other races, and I think the level of the competition's just stepped up. Where Anderson, Trevor, a lot of those guys who are in the series did it last year are now just a step higher, and we can't get rid of them. So last year, Solstice, Sam, Michael, and Josh rolled away pretty easily in the first 10 miles and rode the day together. And this year, there wasn't a crack. Like, they were all super solid. So the tactics had to change, where, okay, we can't go super hard right off the bat and make that split and then just ride together and do whatever. We have to be together, and then, okay, let's not work in the front. Let's split the work more evenly. Let's slow it down so we can get further into the race and get that attrition in the legs, and then start making those moves. And then also people like Calvin just completely change how your game plan works. If you just give him an inch, he's gone. Like, his numbers are incredible. Yeah. He's so fast.
He's such a fast kid. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just try to ride him off your wheel. He'll ride you off his wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a good point that you brought up, that I think that we've noticed throughout the Great Plains Gravel Cup series this year. It does seem like the field is much deeper than it was last year. And I don't know, like, what's driving that, because there are a lot of new faces at the event. And I don't know for the pack that you ride in if you're seeing that as well, but Maybe just speak a little bit more to that, like just the depth of the field and some of the challenges that it presents, just for you personally, not so much the team side, but just personally.
Yeah, I don't know. The series, I don't think the depth of the field is quite as deep. I think there's at the very front end, 4 guys looking at it, and with me out, 3 guys looking at it, like Anderson, Michael, and Trevor. The only real 3 pushing last year. There was 7 really like trying to win the series. So I think that's shrunk a little bit, but I think each of the races have grown, and you're getting a lot of those. You're getting the Peter Sperrys, the Calvins, the Jacobs, the that all show up and elevate the individual races. Ben Warders is another great example who dominated open range. And I think that that's made the racing still very fast and very dynamic, and the depth of it's still huge. It's just, it's hard to commit to the whole series, and I think less people are doing that, but still taking these series races and saying, okay, this is a lifetime Grand Prix type event where it's, oh, all the fast guys are going to this race. I want to go there, so I'm going to be part of that one. Like Flint Hills is a good example where more people show up to Flint Hills because they know fast people are going to be there, and it's part of the series. So all the series people go, which then is just this positive snowball of getting more and more field, and then it trickles all the way down in that depth where you're seeing it's super competitive to 30, 40 people deep. Everybody's racing for that inch, which is it's fun to see and super wild.
Because that explains, I think, what Travis and I have been talking. We've been trying to figure this out all season. Like, what's really driving this?
My times on each course have been better, and I'm further down the standings.
Interesting.
than I am last year. Right. So I think you're right that like a series like this, even though it's not, lifetime or whatever, I think it's something that kind of like people are starting to like look more towards and like you said, target more races. It's not like I see the same, 5 people in our group every race. We see, we see the same people that we know, and then we see like, 5 new faces that we've never seen before. So I think it's overall, I think it's a positive. Like anytime you can get the races to grow, especially, in a local series, that's huge. So basically in leading up to Unbound, you were in second place going into a Muleskinner. And then after coming out of Muleskinner, and then of course you did Unbound, and we're going to get to that. You did the XL, which you had a phenomenal performance there. But we were coming in out of Unbound, and then we went into Solstice. And so Solstice, there was a huge crash, and what was how did that even, did you guys know about that section going in the front, and was there a push to try to string it out, or was it something that surprised a lot of you?
I didn't do as detailed course recon as I traditionally do. I was trying to recover from XL. I was going through a little bit, and I didn't fully know the course. Roger, one of the move up teammates, he did an excellent job. He went out and rode the first 15 miles, and he drove the last 15 miles. So he came up to me like a mile before that saying, in a mile, we're going to go through this B road that's pretty tricky. Try to get to the front. So a lot of the move up guys were trying to slide to the front, which makes it a little more hectic because everybody's sliding to the front. Like, we know it's there. A bunch of other people know it's there. So it's getting tight and compact at that front because it's going to be a pinch point. And then, it was mile 8 that we ended up coming to that. And I was just a little bit further back than I should have been. But it was that level of, this is 8 miles in. I don't want to burn a match just to move up. How tricky is this? A lot of these sections, it's a gravel race. Like, it's not going to be single track. It's not going to like file down. I've been able to ride through a lot of these, no problem. There's a similar section at Mid-South where, like, if you guys have seen the videos, everybody crashed there. I was able to be far enough up and kind of ride on the side of the road, and it was fine. Like, I'm running big 2.2 tires, and I can make it through a lot of the stuff. But this was a little bit more difficult than I expected, and in different ways.
Yeah, when I went through that section, I was like, wow, this is pretty gnarly. I was like, wow. And I saw you guys on the side of the road, but again, I didn't it was gnarly enough for me where I couldn't turn around to see if anybody was behind me. So I just had to pick the line and keep going forward. I couldn't check on anybody. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was definitely like it wasn't like your typical, B road type situation. There was some big ruts and some stuff that cut through that you definitely had to navigate through that section.
Yeah.
So
and to explain to people who don't know, because I assume most of the people listening to this didn't do the race or just haven't seen it, but it was a descent on a B road and it was 2-track. So you could be on either side, but then there was just water ruts. There's just a bunch of deep, like 6-inch ruts that go right across, like diagonally across it. And that was the tricky part, because once you get in those ruts, your wheel isn't going perpendicular or like parallel to it. It's going diagonally.
Yeah,
it wants that twist and pull you to the side. So that's what I ended up hitting and crashing on.
Sounds almost like hitting a railroad track. When you hit a railroad track and you don't hit it square on, then your wheel can get kind of sucked into it a little bit. So,
that's a great analogy. Yeah, just a bigger, deeper railroad track.
Yep.
Yeah. How did that crash affect you after that?
Yeah, so I went down pretty hard. I was one of the first guys to go down, and then there was a couple people who rode over top of me, and I immediately stood up, jumped off, ran off the side of the road. But as soon as I got up, I realized my leg was really hurting. And I looked down, nothing was ripped or anything on my pants. So I'm like, this is weird. Like, maybe I just hit it. But my whole side was scraped up. I got injuries. I don't know if you can see my arms, but they're all ripped up, still with some scars. And I looked over my teammate, Sam. He had his collarbone poking out. So you could fully see his collarbone broken, poking out. Oh. So I kind of walked over to him, but I was limping really bad. And I believe I bruised my leg pretty badly. And I could barely walk. So it was taking care of him, taking care of myself, and getting us out of there. But I hurt my leg really bad. And I tried to get on the bike and do a full pedal stroke, and I couldn't compress my quad enough to get over the top of the pedal stroke. So I left my foot unclipped to get out of the B road. And as my foot was coming up over the pedal stroke, I'd pull it to the side and let the other foot come through. And then I'd step it back on as it got low enough that I could, and just do the bottom half of the pedal stroke consistently and taking my foot off when it got any higher. It was kind of this sketchy piece just because I couldn't, it hurt too much. And then I got back to medical and pulled my pants up, and they were completely scraped and they're still all torn up, my leg.
Wow.
But yeah, it definitely hurt me for the next little bit.
Yeah. So then that means, then you basically used that as a drop race, and then you went into, we saw you at Rock Ridge, and then we went through, there was a little lollipop section, and we basically, you could have took a left and shortcutted everything, and we were making fun of you when we saw you again that you took the shortcut.
Yeah, I definitely did. That day, the whole week beforehand, I didn't ride at all. I did one 30-minute ride and was okay, I can do a pedal stroke on my bike. I'll start Rock Ridge and see if I can actually get through the day. And I made it over the initial climb, which I was proud of, but that was pinning it for me to make it through there. And I was just struggling. My leg was hurting. My shoulder was hurting from the crash. And my fitness just wasn't there with the lack of training coming through XL and Rock Ridge.
Right.
So
and for people that don't know about the series, Rock Ridge happens basically the next weekend after solstice. So you basically have a pretty bad crash, and then
6 days to recover.
6 days to recover from it. So I don't know anybody who can recover that fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a lot of debate and talking to my friends and family and people who are close to me of do I do this? Do I just sit out? What does that look like? And I ultimately decided to try it and see. I didn't make it very far. And then I took a shortcut and to see all the leaders and see all my friends and how they're doing, see you guys. And and then I just rode home.
I think it's always if you're capable of getting on the bike and at least giving it a shot, I think you made the right call. Go out and give it a start. But man, if you can't finish, you can't finish. It's the way it is.
Yeah,
I think it's always good to go out and put a show out there at least. You never know what happens on race day.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I gave myself. I think there's an importance of finishing races, and I was frustrated that I didn't finish, but I gave myself credit because I quit somewhere between starting and finishing, which is trying at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, it could have been easy for you to be like, yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm just not going to start, you know,
Yeah.
and then just, you know, not even giving it a try. And I think you would have been questioning whether or not that was the right decision. Whereas you went out and you tried it and you were like, yep, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the decision. And
Right.
it's a little bit easier to cope with when you make the decision and
Right.
you're not just like, you know.
Yeah,
It's easy to quit before something starts.
Yep.
Yeah. And I completely agree. The regret of it all. I'd have a lot of regret
Yep.
if I went, oh, I didn't do it. It's like, well, what if? Like, what if?
How bad was it really?
Yeah. And 3 months later, when you just look at the results and you go, well, I probably could have started that. Like, I should have just tried.
Yeah.
Right?
I should just try. Yeah.
So I'm glad.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, well, I mean, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a bummer not seeing you at Pony Express.
Yeah.
But you know, I think, you know, you have some plans for some other stuff, which is awesome. And, but you know, let's rewind a little bit and talk about going into the season before any of these races. You went to Mid-South and got 4th.
Yeah. That was
which is
insane. Yeah.
Which is crazy. So did you specifically target Mid-South? Is that why we saw the Strava training and the craziness going, or were you just kind of like, well, let's give Mid-South a shot?
Yeah. So to clarify and to be fully correct, it's 4th in the amateur field. I didn't finish 4th in the pro
not
field.
4th over. Yes, not the pro.
Just to, somebody will get like, I don't like when people see like results and.
Well, he didn't finish 4th of it.
Yeah,
amongst the pros.
He wasn't Finstewald or whoever finished, you know, 4th or whatever.
Yeah, but Mid-South was actually really low priority for me. I go to that race every year. The last couple of years I've ridden with my brother, and we just kind of have fun and like party pace it and enjoy each other and spend a lot of time just like socializing and working together. And he's going through, his wife's pregnant, they're having a baby and stuff. So he's had a lot of life change. So I was going into it expecting, okay, we're going to do just to have a fun day. We're going to be out there for 8 to 10 hours. We're just going to enjoy it and just really prepping for the gravel season afterwards. And then he called me the week before and goes, man, I don't think I can do 100 miles. I'm not going to do it. Just go do your own 100 miles. I'm going to do the 50, enjoy my day, and you enjoy yours. And they go, oh, okay. Thankfully, I was racing the Spring Fling the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after. Like, I'd race fitness already. I've been doing a ton of training for Flint Hills, which is 3 or 4 weeks after Mid-South. So the engine was going, and like I kind of saw that coming a little bit away, but it was not a star on the board at all for the best result I've had probably in my career. If you look at the size of field, the amount of people that have come up to me and go, wow, you got 4th at Mid-South. I'm like, how do you even know that? Like, you don't,
because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
And I've done better numbers or better like pieces at different days, but that one's like Mid-South.
Sometimes the race just comes together.
Yeah,
right?
The stars align, and I mean that's what I love about bike racing, and is some days like the legs come around and you just feel like you know there's no chain and you're just riding and you don't know how it happens. You know, you just put in the work and you hope that it happens, and then you know to have it on a race day, that's that's even better. So
it was a weird feeling coming into the race day. It was on the first time on the Lau racing that bike. And like we are in a big group of like 30 people till mile 70. And it's like, wow, everybody must be so fresh. Like I feel so good. Everybody like, we must not be going that hard. And then it started going really hard. And that's when it split down to a small group of 4. And that's like, oh, I'm actually in really good fitness. Like the legs are feeling really good. Everybody else has been struggling. I've just been on a day. And that was a good feeling. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for one of those days this year.
Danny's still looking.
You'll find those days. You got to find the right races and the right days.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I got to put the hard work into it. It's giving you guys work incredibly hard.
So speaking of the hard work, can you talk a little bit about your off season? What was different with the off season heading into the I should say the time of year heading into this season versus prior years? Because it's clear just seeing your number one, just seeing your results, but then also just seeing you ride this year, like you are definitely on a different level than you were a year ago. So talk a little bit about like what's changed in your approach, or if anything's changed, or is it just a matter of, hey, you're getting just more mature as a cyclist? I'm just curious, like what do you attribute
Yeah,
some of the gains too.
a lot of my training really started changing last summer. I started putting in much bigger weeks and much bigger time into it, bigger investment, and then that started showing a little bit. And then this winter, it's like, okay, I've learned like how to be doing these 12 to 17, 12 to 20 hour weeks. And it's like, okay, let's put that into the off season. Then I took a really early off season in September and took a week off, took some slow time in September, October, and really started hitting it hard in November, which really messed with my cross schedule because I was in complete off season while I was doing cyclocross, which wasn't recommended.
Which is not what you want to do, because
No.
it's all VO2 max efforts, and nothing's worse than trying to do a VO2 max effort when you're not feeling like you're on it and you're just kind of in an off season. Ugh.
Yeah. But from there, it was really, and then I started picking up strength when I really got into it. I started picking up strength in September. So that was one of the big pieces. I did 3 days a week at strength training, which never got on Strava or anything. So you don't even see those numbers. And then tried to pile on as much riding as I could, and just trying to find every bit of motivation I can, and trying to find social rides and everything I can on those weekend cold days to get out. And then during the weeks, just head down and doing my intervals and my work. Very motivated for this year, which was good. I started too early, I think, and I peaked way too early. For what the year was. I think that taking off season September is too much. I think it needs to be pushed back a little bit further if you want to succeed into the summer of the next year.
Yeah. When you were you consistently doing like 20-hour weeks through, like, building up through October, and then November you were kind of there, or were you what did the volume look like going into it?
No, my volume's not quite that high. But October was much slower. October was like 10 to 12-hour weeks. November started picking up that 12 to like 15, and then it started getting solid, like that 15-ish, 15 to 18, all through from December to March. I'll probably pretty good, consistent head down training. With a couple bigger, there was one or two 20+ hour weeks in there. And that's where a lot of the fruit of it came from, especially with like the strength and the gym work, like growing my whole body and that whole system that I have, plus the endurance and the cycling for it. Where in the previous years, I've never really incorporated strength, especially to that extent, where like I went to so many days where I was doing Zwift racing and some of these other intervals, and I go to the interval absolutely cooked because I'm maxing out my strength as much as I can, because I know that's going to get cut when the race season starts, that I don't need to be riding as quite perfectly if I'm getting these physical gains.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you found the balance between strength and that kind of volume on the bike, because we talked about strength a lot in I want to say February timeframe. I had started picking up a lot more strength training in January, February, and much like you just said, like once the race season starts, that all kind of goes away, so you can stay fresh for the race. But how did you find the balance? Because that's a lot of bike volume to also put in with the strength training. So how did you kind of find that balance?
Very difficult to like execute proper intervals and execute things, and then a lot of adjusting. Oh, well, I'm supposed to be doing like my strength routine's this. I'm going to take an easy day because I know that today is a Zwift race that I want to succeed in and do something with. And it's like now I'm trying to do a double day where I'm trying to get both of these benefits together. And there was a lot of balance of that. And I definitely screwed up sometimes where I go into like intervals or some of these hard efforts with my legs absolutely cooked. And then there was other days where both were too easy and I wasn't pushing myself too hard enough. But it was enough that like everything compounding I was trying to really shoot for the stars, and I landed somewhere between decent.
But I think also that you nailed it too. It's the consistency of it. So even though it wasn't perfect every time, the consistency of just showing up every workout and doing that. We just preach that all the time. Like if you're just consistent, like you're going to get the gain from it.
Yeah.
I also think it's important. Like people hear that. And I appreciate you sharing, because at least I'll speak for myself. Like I think it's easy to, like, as you kind of search for how do I improve like my own training and all of that, people tend to get boxed into thinking training has to be perfect. You know, like everything has to be a perfect plan and has to be executed exactly how it's written down on a piece of paper.
I have to hit this interval right at 106% of my FTP. And, like it's,
or like you said, like, hey, you know what, I want to go do this particular Zwift race or whatever it is, but I've got to balance the fact that I need to get my strength work in, and I just have to accept that there are going to be trade-offs, and it's being smart about that. But I think, again, it's about showing up to each one of the sessions and putting the work in. And even if it's not perfect, you're going to get something valuable out of it. And I think that's where, again, I'll speak for myself. It's easy to get locked up when you're like, oh, I'm not doing it quite the way the plan says it. But that's okay. Yeah. Right. Like don't be so crazy about it.
Yeah. When your training peak shows a whole bunch of orange, I don't know if you guys get that. And you kind of get stressed about it, but it's like, it's okay. You're like, you're doing the work. There's like, it's okay to have a red day. Like, it's okay to be orange all over the place. Like,
right.
It's fine. Just breathe. Like, know you're doing the work. Check that you're actually doing the work. And are you working as hard as you can? Yes, you are. Perfect.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah. So all that kind of set you up for obviously the Mid-South success and the Great Plains Gravel Cup. And then I think we want to talk a little bit about the Unbound.
Yeah. It was the one that you starred on the calendar where you're just like, that's the one. That's where I'm putting in all this work.
Yeah. It was really like I came into it with 2 goals, the Great Plains Cup to try to do the best I can, but then XL. Like, I really want to complete the XL. For me, I finished the 200 last year to go back a little bit. And I did it with my brother, and it was it was a good year for me. And I finished it, and I stood there, and I got my bike washed, and I talked to my dad and went, I could ride further. I still have some left in the tank. And that was the worst thought I could ever have. Because then I go, well, what's further than the 200? Like,
did you said you rode with your brother at Unbound last year?
Yeah.
So I think
they passed me and saw me a couple of times.
I think it's
me dying on the side of the road.
All I can say is I appreciate whatever approach you both had that day. I appreciate it so much. It's the only time I'll ever beat you in a race.
Yeah. Just gotta finish Unbound. Unbound's not about winning. It's about getting there. It's about enjoying.
It's exactly right.
It's about surviving.
Just finish it.
Anytime in the Flint Hills, it's about surviving.
So now I'm really interested because, to your point, I mean, yes, you could ride further, and there was never a doubt. So it's really interesting to hear you frame that up. That I can do more. I want to finish XL, but you didn't just finish it. You excelled at it, and so I'd like to kind of understand what are some of the key differences between the 200 and the XL that you noticed, maybe you thought would be different but weren't, and then things that you were surprised were completely different. Like, I'd just be curious to hear your perspective on that.
I don't know if I was surprised by too much. One of the major differences is like eating. Like the 200, I had a dialed eating plan, and a lot of it was race nutrition. The XL I started in August because I knew as soon as the 200 finished, eating at gas stations and trying to eat much more normal food. And that's a big difference. One of the things that I guess surprised me going into it and not like the month before is the idea of batteries. Like, I have to have a light on my head has to work for 8 hours, which means I have to have a redundancy into that, because I can't just have one light that's likely going to work. Because then if that comes out, then I'm like, you quit. Like, well, that's not appropriate. Like, I can't quit because I'm dumb. So I'm having redundancies of these batteries.
Yeah, or you got to wait till the sun comes up.
Yes, which it'd be a long day of waiting from.
It'd be a long time of just waiting there, just going,
Yeah. So like the batteries is a very hard challenge that I struggled with and spent a lot of time researching. And I don't actually think I put together a plan where I had a headlight on my head and a light on my bike. And I had 2 battery banks, one in my frame bag that was 40,000 milliamps, which is huge, and one small one in my back pocket that was 10,000 milliamps. And they both went to each light. And the 40,000 one was there also to recharge InReaches, Garmin's, my phone, all of my batteries that I had with me, where the one in my back pocket was only for my head. And that's okay. With those lights, I tested where I had them on all day, my lights on all day, and then figured how long they'd last, and my lights on all day, plugged into the battery and figured how long that would last. And with the 40,000 milliamp, I didn't get halfway on that test. And it's like, okay, this has been over 24 hours. I don't need to worry about it. So, but like those logistics really stressed me out and took a lot of time. And I want to change for my next ultras if I do any more with that. But that planning was very different and very surprising when I started getting into like the details of the XL. And what that looked like.
Yeah. What headlamp and bike lamp did you finally decide on?
So I used,
if you know.
yeah, I have the Garmin UT800,
Okay.
their standard light, and then I end up using the oh, why am I blanking on it? Is it? No, it's not an exposure light.
The 6-pack?
No,
No.
I forget. It's their dedicated headlight. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So not the bike light. So the Garmin was for the bike, and
The
then
Garmin was for the bike. Yeah.
and you used a small one. It's like half the size of that Garmin.
No, it was actually a bigger light. I could go and grab
okay.
it to figure out exactly what it was. But I have photos of it as well. But it was a bigger headlight that actually was much more of a floodlight that went out to the side.
Okay.
And that I did a lot of prep of, like, I talked to Hannah Glatter, amazing resource. She did the XL the previous year. And I talked to her a bunch after the XL immediately, and she ran into her own things. But one thing she talked about was how heavy her light was after her big ride, which I don't exactly know how long it was, but 20 plus hours. And that's so, as soon as I got the light, which was a month and a half beforehand, I didn't take it off. I rode every ride with it on as a prep of, okay, my next game prep, my helmet just weighs this much now.
Right. Right.
So that was good prep. And then as soon as I got out of the dark, I took it off my head. So I was like, okay, we're saving my neck, saving my body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess one of the surprises, thinking about it now that you guys asked the question for, was how busy the gas stations were.
Yeah.
I got into the first Casey specifically at Madison, mile 61. And I walked in and I was like, okay, like, I'll go grab my bottles of water, grab my bottles, filled up, like, poured my packages of mix in them, got that going, kind of did my thing. And then I looked over and the line had 20 people in it. And I just had to stand there in line and go, oh, like, I'm now just wasting time. I'm at mile 60. I'm not very tired. I don't need a break. And I'm just in here in line with things in my hands, and I can't, like, start adjusting my bike stuff, and I can't do everything. And I'm watching the people I came in with, which were much smarter than me, grab their stuff immediately into line. And watching the groups that I was with leaving, and I was just standing there waiting to check out. And it's like, some people walked in, threw money on the counter, and left, and I was like, that's not really the style I want to go with. So and everybody had to get their card out and do the thing, and it just took forever. That really shocked me, and it's like, okay, if I do one of that size again, they have a Dollar General just down the road, I want to go there, or the grocery store, and I want to go there. Or if there isn't an option like that, just immediately get to the cash and try to get through any bottleneck I can find as quickly as possible, and then start dealing with my own stuff.
Yeah. Was it like that at every gas station, or was it just that first one?
Just that first one. It was split apart enough. The next one was at mile 115 miles. And it was pretty ripped apart by the time I got there. I came in with a group of, I think it was 8. So, like, we were all doing our thing at the same time. But the difference in speed of shopping and stuff made it so it wasn't very long. Where I didn't get bottled up, and I spent enough time dealing with my own stuff that I didn't wait in line there. And then all of the other ones were empty, or just very, very scattered apart by the time I got there.
Yeah. How did you, when did you feel like you were making up the most ground on everybody else? Was it basically after the sun rose, or was it through the night?
So I've kind of two answers to that question. The best feeling I had, which isn't answering your question, was at midnight. At midnight, I was, like, on fire. I was in this group. We were all rolling turns, like 5-minute turns. I felt like there was no chain on my bike. Like, I could pedal forever. There was, like, there was group catching.
Wait. So you had this twice in the same season?
That's what consistency gets you, Danny.
I had this, like, 4 times in one day. If you ride for 29 hours straight,
you're going to have good times.
Everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, but honestly, like, I felt really good. We were doing 160 watts. Like, this wasn't a 300 watt on the front, like, drilling it, or like a big effort. You're doing 160 watts in the front. You're doing 120 in the wheels. It just felt so fun and so good. It's an effort that lots of people could attain if they were trying to do it, especially if they're fresh. But the spot I made the most time up was, I came into Council Grove, which is the last checkpoint mile. I think it was like 270. And And from there, I saw my family there cheering me on. They have a lake house there. I didn't take anything from them, but they're cheering me on. And they said, you're in spot 25. And I was like, I want to go for top 20. I'm in. And from there, I head down, hammered. Everybody I was with, I did an effort to drop them. I didn't want to work with any groups. I was watching for every XL person that I could find and doing everything I could to make the spots up. And that's where I really moved up a long ways on the average pack. Before then, I was basically moving backwards the whole day compared to the field.
Yeah, that's when I rode with you for a little while, and then I basically just failed you so hard.
No, you were a huge help. That point is so between Council Grove and the finish line is the 200 does that section, and I think it's around 50 miles for you guys. For us, it was around 80 miles. We did a little bit of an extra loop, but the last 40 miles were together. The XL and the 200 were together, and as I pulled onto that section. You can go back and listen to the SufferSooner podcast from Unbound, which is a great episode. Travis saw me, and we almost connected instantly. And we were like, people we know. And for me, it was the first person I know since the beginning of the day. I didn't know anybody else who did the XL. You pulled me along. I don't think I took a single pull. And then
I tried to do the best I could. I was just suffering with the nausea and stuff, but man, and then I would almost throw up, and then I would catch back up to you, and then I'd work as much as I could. But yeah, it was great seeing you out there. I was so pumped.
Yeah, so. I really appreciated that, and just a friendly face, and B, a little bit of a draft. Both of those were huge because I spent the last 40 miles on my own just trying to hammer and get to that section where I knew that the 200 and the XL joined, because I was like, okay, from there I have a draft, and I suffered for a long time there.
What was did you do any? So other than eating real food, was there any other kind of fueling strategy that you were going for at on the XL, or you were just like, I'm just going to put whatever in my face hole and go from there?
So everything was planned for me. I went through, and as soon as they released the course, I went through every spot and how far it is from each spot. And then I went through all the gas stations or whatever it was and figured out what I could get there, to the point where one day I drove to Florence to that gas station because it was a Smart Stop, and I've never heard of a Smart Stop before. And I took pictures of all the shelves so I could figure out what food they had. Funny. So then I could plan what food I could take. So then I went through and I found how long I expected to take from each point, and then how much food I'd need with a little bit extra, and then what they expect them to sell. And then I packed as much as I could, which I think I packed 12 to 15 hours worth of food. And then the rest of it I purchased, which is I ended up purchasing 26 hours worth of food.
Okay.
Or that was the total quantity. Sorry, not purchasing 26. So it'd be the difference of that. But yeah, so then everything was tracked. I knew at what station I was going to buy what food, and I knew how many grams of carbs it was. So if I went in there and I was like, okay, I'm supposed to get pizza, I know it was 30 or 40 grams of carbs. If I wasn't feeling pizza, I could substitute it out and look at the back of a package and be like, okay, this has 40 grams of carbs. I can just grab one of these. And that's an equal substitute, because you don't know what you're not going to like.
Right.
20 hours into a ride.
Yeah. There's no way to know. Nobody could be like, yeah, you're going to eat this at at hour 22. And it's
pizza, not so good
I don't
right
think
now.
So right now.
So I knew how many carbs I needed for each section. And then I knew if I didn't take something, how many carbs I need to substitute it out with to still be adequate. All of my nutrition went to crap, and I actually was underfueled significantly. A really funny story with nutrition, if we're on this topic and rambling, was I went to Council Grove and I decided to buy a jug of maple syrup. It wasn't on the plan, but I was like, I've been training with a little bit of maple syrup. I intended to bring some, and I actually forgot a little bit, but I made it all work. As I'll just grab one, throw it in my back pocket. It's almost 1,000 grams of carbs. They're just bottles of sugar, basically.
Yeah, it's just refined sugar. Yeah. It goes right in the bloodstream.
Grabbed it, threw it in my back pocket. I drank half the bottle of it. I was feeling so good. My favorite fruit mule from Council Grove to the end. I got to the end and pulled it out of my pocket, and my brother noticed I bought sugar-free maple syrup.
No way.
It had 4 grams of carbs every cup.
Oh my gosh.
So I just drank a bunch of water. I didn't even eat with that all that maple syrup. I had some
So the
other
placebo
food.
effect is real.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, there is some studies that say like if you can kind of trick your body into thinking that you're getting like something like sugary in, it'll let you release more, or the brain will be tricked and it won't hold you back as much. It'd be like, oh, we're getting carbs and sugar, and so like we can release some more, because a lot of times when you slow down, like it's because your body's just like, no, we're if we keep going like this, we're gonna have no sugar, and if we don't have any sugar, my brain doesn't work.
So is sugar-free maple syrup on the nutrition plan going forward?
I highly don't recommend that to anybody. If you're doing endurance events, buy normal maple syrup, and it was a dumb idea, but I learned to read the bottles a little bit better. You learn to be a little more diligent when you're grabbing all that stuff. Make sure it's not Coke Zero. Make sure it's regular Coke. Make sure.
Yep.
That one hits a lot of people.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people get sugar-free Gatorade.
Yeah. Big mistake,
man. You want all the carbs you can get,
all the junk.
Yep.
And especially the Gatorade is like when you often buy Gatorade, it's can I get the low sodium or the low carbs one, just like if you're trying to like be a little bit healthier, and that's not, so your eye sometimes jumps to it, or mine does. And that's not what you want.
Yeah, and when you're kind of delirious from riding, 18 hours, and you're just like, I'm just gonna grab whatever looks like the thing, and that's probably what happened.
Oh yeah, that's definitely what happened.
So, well, what we're getting to some of the changes for this year, like we noticed that you had a new bike this year, which is the Lauf Segla, right?
Yes.
And then and you were coming from the Cervelo Aspero.
Yep.
What did you find like the most different about these two bikes besides the suspension fork?
So I actually went through a lot of debate and actually went with the rigid Lauf. I don't have the fork on it. One of my good friends, Peter Sperry, he has a one with the fork, and I think I rode his beforehand, and it's a little bit of a weird rhythm when you're standing and accelerating. It's quite a bit heavier, and just how it all worked out for the bike I got the rigid fork, and then I got quite a bit narrower handlebars. So on my Aspero, I run 42s. On the Lauf, I got 38s.
I run the 38s on my gravel bike too.
Yeah,
it's just nicer.
Yeah. What did you get on the Crux? I know you got a Crux, Danny.
It's got a 40 on it, but I haven't.
Well, he's also shorter and stockier.
Yeah,
he's got bigger shoulders than us
no
tall guys.
I love the 40s. The 40s have been pretty good to me. I would like to try a 38 though. I think that would be good.
Yeah. It's one of the things that are hard to figure out without trying, and then trying it takes bar tape and shifters and tying it and all this work to actually get through that. That it's a little bit different. But to continue the story of the differences, the big one is the tires. I went from 38s on the Cervelo. I think I could run a 42 up front, but a 42-38 on it, Pathfinders, to the Continental Dubnital's 22s. So it's the bigger thing that I fully noticed was actually that I went from a Pathfinder, which is a slick tire in my opinion, it's a semi-slick maybe, if you want to debate me on it, to the Dubnital, which is a fully treaded mountain bike tire. I now out-corner people so much.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. At the front of these races, like if somebody's on a Pathfinder, I can drop them in all the corners and stuff, or open a gap, and I use that quite a bit of, like, especially if it's a descent corner, it's like, okay, I'm going to keep pushing and use this extra little bit that I got of these wide mountain bike tires. I also think they're quite a bit faster than the 40 mil Pathfinder, we'll round it to that. Which there's a lot of variety of testing of what's the perfect tire and aerodynamics and all those pieces, but I think it's a very fast tire, and I think it's the right tire for Unbound.
Have you run the Dubnital like just all season, or did you swap out for different races or anything?
I really wanted to swap out for some different races. I think open range, you do much better on like a Thunderbird. You're so unlikely to flat that running a fast swabby tire that's more likely to flat is a lot better. And those Thunderbirds are a lot faster than the Dubnitals. the Dubnatels just have a little bit better puncture protection, but I didn't have the funding to make the tire swap work, so I just stayed with the Dubnatels on that one. And then Muleskinner, there's so much road in the course and there's so much climbing. I think the 2.2s are too big of a tire. I think ideally you want either like a 50 mil dub or 50 mil something that is a little bit smaller and faster on the road than that. If I could have, I probably would have run the 2.1 Thunderbirds at open range and then 50 mil dub at Muleskinner, and then the 2.2s at the other 3 races, Flint Hills, Rock Ridge, and Solstice. I think that would be my ideal. And then Pony, I just don't know enough about, but you could probably run the 50 mil dubs at Pony. That'd probably be fastest. There's some good B roads out there. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are you guys running for tires?
Well, so I started out the season on the Tracers, the Tracer 50s.
Yeah.
And those have been phenomenal tires. And then Travis got the Schwabels at the RS ones.
Yep.
Which tread pattern is that?
That's the semi-slick
the semi-slick in the center.
Okay, with the knobs on the side and slick in the center. Okay.
Yep.
And those rolled fast, man.
Yeah.
They were fast.
Until they flattened.
Until they flattened.
Yes.
But of course, I was riding in the Flint Hills, so you know, whatever.
After that, though, I went out and bought the RX1s and rode those at Unbound, and I've been riding them since. I love those tires. Now, I also rode the Pathfinder 50s.
Okay.
I had a set of Pathfinder 50s. I'm with you, though. I look, as somebody who absolutely loved the Pathfinder over the last couple of years, to me, I think the Tracer, if you're going to buy a Specialized tire, the Tracer is the best tire they make right now.
Yeah, it's got the knobs, and it's the casing's a little bit thinner.
It's not as chunky as the Terras, but that Tracer I think rolls pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But I really do like those RX1s. They're a little pricey, but I think they have a good combination of rolling resistance and tread protection. So I'm probably going to stick with those, but I don't know. Now with the Crux 5, I can run a 2.2. I might be getting some Dubnatels. What I'm hearing here.
I'd seriously consider the 50. I think the 2.2, unless you're doing like a lot of Flint Hills stuff, is a little bit overkill sometimes. I think the 50 with the aerodynamics a little bit better. In Cat 3 gravel, the Dubnatel's faster, but in all the other circumstances, including road, the 50 is quite a bit faster. So you're seeing a lot of the pros go to that 50 tire.
That's something we talked about, just like sort of back and forth between races and all that, is like, you know, the industry has been pushing wider and wider tires for a while now. And it's like, at some point it's going to be too much, right? Like, where's that limit at? It's a lot like the whole debate over the 32-inch wheels. It's like, why 32? Why not 38? Or, you know, why not 50? Like what's the limit here? So there's got to be a limit somewhere where the trade-offs just aren't worth it. And I think you're right. It's like, it is definitely course dependent. And around here, there's a lot of variety. So you could find cases that, hey, maybe it makes sense to have a 2.2 on a drop bar bike, but it's probably fairly rare that you really need that. You know, you're probably better off with a 50 and just go out and run it. So,
but I love the tires. I love having a treaded tire with actual grip and stuff. I think I loved the Pathfinders. I thought they were a very fast tire and a very durable tire, but I'm with you. The Tracers just gives you that little bit more grip. Which the Pathfinder suffers with.
Yep.
Yeah. When I had to run the Pathfinders, I think
you ran the old 47s.
Yeah, the 47s. I think at Flint Hills.
Yeah.
And I was puckering up every single corner, man. It was just like, I'm like,
we've been riding those 50s all year, you know.
I was riding those 50s for so long that, you know, you just get used to that grip and you're just coming into the corners and you're like, ooh, no, that's not good. As the back end starts to slide out, you know, you're just like, that's not good. Yeah. So, well, after doing XL, are you gonna do it again, or you one and done, or you haven't made that decision yet?
I haven't made the decision on the XL. I think it'll be tough for me to go back to the XL. My goal is to finish it, complete the goal, check the box. But there's definitely a part of my heart that wants to do ultras. Shortly after I finished, I came to this realization that I spent so much time, I do this road racing, I do the gravel racing, and I just get my face kicked in by these guys who are they can just do 5 minutes harder than I can do 5 minutes. And you get Calvin, who's just Like I just go as hard as I can up Muleskinner, like those climbs, and I just can't hold on. And it's like I'm doing everything I possibly can, and I feel like I'm working as hard as I can. I just can't be there. But with these ultra events, it's just I just have to be stronger than them mentally. I just have to pedal zone 2 longer than they can pedal zone 2. And if I can do that, if I can sleep less than them, if I can be more efficient, if I can like plan around it, and planning actually matters, which in some of these races, people come to me, when's the next climb? It's like, this is a race. Like you didn't you do your course recon?
No.
I know exactly when so all of that comes into the ultra space so much more, where like the planning actually matters. And then it's not just, oh yeah, if you want to ride 5 minutes harder than me, go for it. I'll see you in 30 hours. Like I caught so many people in the last 5 hours of the XL that were 40 minutes to an hour ahead of me at one point. And it's like, wow, I was able to pull that time back just because I put my head down and I went really hard for the last 80 miles. Because I still had stuff left in the tank. And I think that style suits me a lot. So I want to look at some of these ultras, like the Cannonball 550 is coming up in March. The Flint Hills Ultra is next year, and that's Unbound time frame. So maybe something like that. I don't really know. Yeah. That's 1,000 miles. So that's a lot further. But I want to get that 300 to 500 miles again and see like what does that look like? Did I get lucky on one day? Is there an itch to scratch? Where does my future look in that sense?
Yeah, especially like, just the, you talk about the mental aspect and the planning aspect. A lot of people, I don't know. I've ridden with people before and they're just like, I don't know. I just go to the gas station and get stuff. And then I don't know. I just keep riding. And it's just like, I'm like, do you follow your power? Do you have like targets? They're like, I don't know. I just ride. And it's just like, bro, you're out here just like some of those people. I'm just like, I'm in awe that they're like out there doing it and they're just not paying attention to that stuff. I couldn't do it. No. So I'm like with you, like the planning, the efficiency, the weighing of, which headlamp, which bike light, like how many lumens, how long does this last? What's the backup? What's the plan for this? Like I would be in the same boat as you, is just like, planning that stuff out. And I think there is space for that in these ultra distance, because a lot of people, I mean, we've talked to Preston a bunch of times and, he knows where the aid stations are and, he does all this on a single speed and he's just like, oh, I just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
head
just
down, do it.
Yeah. And he's like, when I get tired, I sleep. And when I get thirsty, I drink. And I'm like,
yeah. And I think I might come into the ultra space a little too analytical for it all, where a lot of people are much more laissez-faire and just happy to accept, like, this is the day. I'm just going to ride from here to here and, whatever happens, happens. And I'm looking at spreadsheets and putting together nutrition plans and timing plans and pre-buying hotels and like prepping all of that side of it, where it's like, just get there when you get there and figure it out. Like, and maybe that's important. But I'd like to talk to Preston more about that. I need to reach out to him and see what his because he is so experienced in this.
Yeah. And I wonder too, if you just do enough of these things and it just kind of like,
it kind of gets like us when somebody says, hey, we're going to go ride 100 miles of gravel. Like we don't really think about it.
Yeah, there's no plan.
We know what to pack. We're just like, okay, as long as I got the route, I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think also, if I know you well enough, Jackson, like you don't panic when things don't go according to plan. You do a really good job of adapting and being flexible to it. So I think that's the other really important characteristic of people that do ultras. They know how to be flexible and adjust when the situation calls for it. So,
yeah. I think that's really important. Like the XL, we had 5 hours of walking, which is the key headline for me. That whenever I talk about it, and that messed up.
Nobody said like, okay, I'm going to plan for 5 hours of walking.
Yeah,
like it's like when you make the plan, you're like, I'm going to ride the whole thing.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, you're going to walk.
And I brought 5 hours of food for that aid station. Aid station is 65 miles. I brought 5 hours of food. Well, I spent 5 hours out walking. There's another 5 hours or 4 hours of riding that I had to do. Like I was 5 hours out on my food, and that just screwed the nutrition. Which is like, okay, then we plan and adjust and get a bunch of sugar-free maple syrup and move on.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you do what you got to do.
Maybe next time I see you at the race, Jackson, I'll have a bottle of real maple syrup for you.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. And I get extra crap because I am a Canadian too. So it's like, you
Yeah.
should know your maple syrup.
You should
yeah,
know
you
different-
should definitely
I mean,
know.
you should have been able to taste that. You should be
Yeah.
like, something's not right with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was
This-
corn syrup, so I knew it was not right from the beginning. But
yeah, I doubt they were selling real maple syrup at the,
Yeah, that's
at the
true.
gas
That's
station.
yeah, it was the Dollar General
Yeah.
in Council Grove.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was too funny. That's too good.
So, yeah. So more ultras in the future, I think. That seems like some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's one of those things like we've talked a lot about. So Jackson, maybe you'll be inspiration for Travis and I, because we've talked a lot about wanting to do XL, and it's like talking about it during the off season. It's like, yeah, that'd be a
Super
great
easy
idea.
to talk about it.
It'd be so great to do it. And then, as it gets a little closer to signing up for it, it's like, maybe I'm going to stick with that 200. So,
yeah. Well, Danny's got the chalice now. He's gonna.
I know I have to do the 200 next year.
Yeah, he's
for
got
number
the
5.
Yep,
So,
number 5. So
yeah.
Okay.
So next year will definitely be a just finish Unbound type of year.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
But,
My recommendation with it, and a bunch of people have asked me this, of like, do you recommend other people do it? I say, if you can do the 100, you can do the XL.
Yeah.
Like the 200 is already so hard, and people
Right.
don't like realize that, especially like I had my mom come out and support me at the XL, and she's like, but these guys they're only riding half the distance you did. No, the 200 is so hard that if you can get through the idea of pedaling for 12, 13, 17, 20 hours, whatever it takes you to do 200, you can just keep pedaling for more. Like,
yeah.
just keep eating. Your mindset changes of, okay, I don't finish here. I just have to keep eating through the end of whatever the 200 is. And then you just keep going and you get through the day and you finish it. Like, it's further, it's a little bit harder, but it's really just the same thing for longer.
Right.
Yep.
And I think it's, especially you guys who have so much experience doing the Unbound, and you guys have done some of these attempts, I think you guys could do the XL.
Yeah.
You guys just have to prep for it. But like, you know what the prep takes. Like, it's a 200 plus
Yeah.
more.
Yep. And basically, we're like, I don't want to prep.
Yeah.
So actually, just that might be another good question. Like, how would you say? There's two parts to the question. How would you say Unbound XL prep affected your other racing goals or performances, kind of going into those races? And then after Unbound XL, how would you say that XL has affected your other racing performance and goals?
Yeah. I would really word it the opposite way, where all of the other racing I did really affected my XL training, and I wanted to get bigger days in. It's like three weeks out of XL, I did Muleskinner, a 4-hour full gas race, and the next day I was cooked. Like,
Yeah.
really, I should be doing back-to-back 8-hour days, like, or some of these, maybe not that much volume, but some big days leading in, like the 2 months beforehand, you do that check-in ride where you're doing similar to the distance, and I was out racing open range and getting shattered.
Yeah.
And that really affected was the amount of racing I did beforehand kind of slowed my training down and didn't let me be optimal into the XL. And for future events, I want to adjust that to be better blocking out of my schedule. And then coming out of the XL, I was shattered. It was, I'd done all that coming into it, and I came into the XL kind of tired because there was so much racing immediately before it. Because I went 4 weeks or 5 weeks of the spring playing with the middle week was Mid-South, and then it was a week off, then Flint Hills, then a week off, then Open Range, then a week off, then Muleskinner, and then 2 weeks off in the XL. And it was it's basically 5 months of every other weekend I was racing. Not 5 months, like 3 months of every other week I was racing. From February to June. And then I got super sick that next week. I got poison ivy from walking so much, or plant irritation all over my legs. So I didn't sleep at all. And I just spent the next 2 weeks just like not riding at all, not doing anything. And then I was super tired and trying to like work and try to get back into my normal life of things. And not succeeding. And then 2 weeks were over and I went to Solstice and I crashed. And I think some of that crash at Solstice was because I came into it tired. If I was really sharp and fresh, I think maybe, and I don't know, this is one of those things that you think back on, maybe there's a chance I didn't make those mistakes that I did make. And my handling, I was a little bit sharper and a little bit more, a little bit better and a little bit further up in that group. But you you never know.
It's a lot of hypothetical. Yeah.
Yep.
And I have no regrets of doing the XL.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, we always talk about the XL or the Unbound hangover, and you know, like I don't think people, you know, take it kind of seriously, because I mean, last year when we talked to, you know, Hannah, she was still, you know, coming in off of Rock Ridge, or no, Solstice, when she lost the lead to Courtney. She was just like, yeah, I'm still cooked from that race, and it was, you know, basically almost 3 weeks. So yeah, I just think that people just don't give the amount of fatigue that you get just credit.
Yeah, it's a big one, and the 200's hard, the XL's hard, and that's another piece of just learning these ultras and other things.
Yep. Well, it's good, man. It's been a hell of a season for you, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm really excited. I know you mentioned some of the potential to do more ultras. I'm really excited to see kind of how the season wraps up for you, and you head into off season. It sounds like you're gonna maybe restructure the timing of your off season maybe a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to follow you along and see where everything goes. I'm really excited about, you know, kind of what you're going to be heading into next year, and I just hope you get healthy fast, because I know those injuries can linger, and hopefully that all gets taken care of, and you start feeling good on the bike again pretty soon. So,
yeah, last week was the start of back into strength training, back into riding, back into everything. But what's next in your guys' calendar? Are you guys doing pony? Are you guys doing? I know you guys did Ironman last year.
Pony coming up, and then
we have Farmhouse Classic this weekend,
nice.
And then then they're a week off, and then it's 3 back-to-back Olympic distance triathlons for me.
Oh, okay.
Travis, yeah.
So yeah, Danny's
I'll be a spectator.
Yeah, he hasn't got to swim yet.
Yeah. No, I haven't been swimming, so I'm out on the tries this year. And then we've got Opal Wapu coming up in October, and then Pony, of course, in September.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Looking to the Street Tilford Epic as well. I'm going to push that one. That's a really cool event that looks like it's going to be wonderful this year.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anything else for him?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Got anything?
No, I think we're good. So thanks so much, Jackson. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, always a pleasure talking to you, Jackson. Super great. And always great following you. You know, just what you're doing, and you know, your Strava and stuff. It's just wild.
Yeah, I appreciate talking to you guys and seeing you guys at all the events and stuff, and following the podcast. So keep it up.
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. And thanks, everybody, for listening. And we'll talk to you guys later.